Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, dedicated to making you a better fisherman. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors: The Boat Shop, 3J's Fourway, Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, The Lakes Insurance Agency, Lone Star Bass Trail, V&M Baits. Now on to your hosts, Ranger Daiwa Pro Staff Steve Graff and V&M Baits President Kevin Jean.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M President Kevin Jean, and you're watching Tackle Talk Live right here from the shores of Sibley Lake in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And it's a beautiful day outside. Now, where you're at, it might be pouring down rain.
It's a beautiful day now.
Beautiful day for right now. Sun's shining, the wind's blowing. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I actually wish we could be outside shooting this particular show, but we're not. We're in our studio, and but we're going to bring you a really good show today. We've got the top two guys from the Silly Big Bass Splash from Toledo Bend this past weekend. We got both of those guys on with us today, and we're going to cover all other stuff, the upcoming tournaments. Kevin just informed me there's one that's been canceled for Rayburn for this coming weekend because postponed because of high water. So, and there's some other tournaments coming up, I'm sure, as those happen, if there are postponements, depending on probably what ramp they're going out of, whether they'll be postponed. But Rayburn is over 6.5 feet high right now, so it's in the parking lot at a lot of places. Not sure Castle Boykin and some of those higher ramps, how they're handling it or what they're doing. But anyway, hopefully between the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to give you some details on that, what's going on. ABA is coming up at the end of the month, so we'll maybe have some news on that as well.
Yeah, and Steve, we're going to really jump into the Sealy's Big Bass Splash from this past weekend. Yes, we have first and second place on to talk to us about it, but really going to jump into the details, the hourly paybacks. Steve, so there was not a 10-pounder caught. I thought there would be, right, but we did hit the nail on the head with the weights. It took a 4 and 4.5, a lot of hours, 4 3/4 to get the last place check.
The 15th place check.
I was really pleased with the weights for Toledo Bend. Toledo Bend showed out a little bit. I heard it, of course, it was a little tough, but man, the size is there. People caught the size this weekend.
It kind of makes you wonder now when you're seeing the weights that we've seen come in on Toledo, is it really that hard? Because, I mean, number one, there's not a lot of grass. You can go punch grass.
No, you can't go punch. But there is some hydrilla coming back, especially on the north end of the lake. Now it is on the rise. Well, it's not really rising. They've got 5 gates open, 1 foot. They're generating 24 hours.
Right.
We still do have a lot of water coming down from Lake Fort. Lake Fort has their floodgates open as well. So we got a lot of water. Luckily, Toledo Bend is generating and has floodgates open. So we got a lot of water pushing through. Unlike Sam Rayburn, where it's just sitting there. So
it's up 6 inches and continuing to rise with all the rain we're getting north of Toledo Bend as well as at Toledo Bend. And plus, as you said, Lake Fork is letting water out, and that's coming down the Sabine River, coming straight into Toledo Bend. So,
but you know, this past weekend with the water the way it was, and all the water being pulled, and there were some really good fish caught. I know of a lot of. I'm not going to give up first and second place how they caught theirs yet, but we'll dive into that with them. But I know a lot of checks were cast shallow and a lot of checks were cast deep. Football jigs, Carolina rigs up shallow, frogs, and flipping and so on and so forth. So as we alluded to last week, basically go fishing how you want to go fishing, and you got a chance of catching a big one shallow or deep on Toledo Bend right now.
Exactly. And we got Stephen Rushmeier, who won the event at Toledo Bend, and Ryan Hebert from Mansur, Louisiana. Stephen is from Slidell. So 2 Louisiana guys finished 1-2 in the Bob Seeley event. 987 won and 971 was second. But real quick, before we get to Stephen, we'll get Stephen on the phone here in just a second. We got some sponsors. We got a new sponsor, Toledo Health. And again, thank you guys for jumping on board with us.
I'll start off with the boat shop. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. Stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the boat shop take care of all your boating needs. give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com. And also want to throw in there, they are a Sea Arc and a Camus boat dealer as well.
Yes. Also, this coming weekend, we're assuming, we're not sure if the Lone Star Bass Trail, if their Open Team Series event, it's going to be held or not. Again, it's May 23rd. It is their championship weekend. $5,000 up for grab, $150 entry fee, 5-fish limit. But this event could possibly be postponed depending on location, where they're putting in on the lake. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe in the next 30, 40 minutes, we might get a text from
Yeah, very possible.
from Lone Star, and we'll see what's going on with them. But right now, we also got 3J's Fourway.
I'm gonna go over Toledo Health.
You do Toledo Health. I'll do 3J's.
I'm gonna go over our new sponsor here, Toledo Health, which is located on Highway 6 near Toledo Town, a full-service primary care and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's convenient to the area. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. They treat it all from fish hook removal to chronic conditions, so give them a call at 318-508-5323, located at 11340 Texas Highway in Manny. It's just east of Toledo Town there at the Fourway stop.
There you go. And while Kevin's getting Stephen on the phone, 3J's Fourway Cypress Knee Outdoors. It's a store within a store, y'all. 3J's Fourway houses Cypress Knee Outdoors. It's a part of the interior part of the store. Totally separate, great selection of tackle, guns, ammo, fishing gear, rods, reels, just everything. And they've got the top name brands when it comes to baits. V&M, Strike King, Santone. They got the best of the best. Humdinger. Got a great selection of Humdinger spinner baits. So check it out. Hunting supplies from Primo, guns from Winchester, Remington, Mossberg, along with a great selection, again, of ammunition right there at Cypress Knee Outdoors. Stop in, say hello to John Abraham. He's the owner, his great staff. Cypress Knee Outdoors inside 3J's Fourway, located 1 mile east off I-49, exit 127. Give them a call at 318-238-HUNT, Hunt. So thank you, John Abraham and his staff. And again, as we get information, guys, on what's going on at Rayburn, Toledo being, I don't think you're in jeopardy of anything being canceled because it's only 6 inches high. But Rayburn is busting at the seams once again. And so as we get information from Sam Rayburn and these tournament directors, we will pass that knowledge on to you as well.
Steve, so we're going to start with second place, the second place finisher from the event, Ryan Hebert. Ryan, you with us?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Ryan?
What's going on, man?
Ryan, man, we want to talk about this weekend a little bit, and I know you got several stories on how all of this went down.
Hey, Ryan, real quick, are you on speakerphone?
Yes, sir.
We're getting a lot of interference in the background on that.
Can y'all hear me better?
Oh yeah, much better.
Lot better.
Thank you, sir.
So Ryan, let's kind of jump into the tournament here. Did you fish all 3 days of the event?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, and I know you caught this fish on Sunday. Again, we're talking to Ryan Hebert. He finished second at the Sealy's Outdoor event this past weekend with a 9.71. Ryan, take us, and you caught this fish Sunday morning, so kind of take us through Sunday morning here when all this started to go down.
Well, to start off, man, my partner that fished with me the first 2 days, he got sick. It was unfortunate, he started running fever and stuff and got sick, so he couldn't fish Sunday, and I felt bad for him, but
felt bad as you got in the boat and left.
Yeah, so well, it was it was kind of a good thing because I brought my boat with me along for the trip too, and we had rented a house and everything together, so I brought my boat just in case something happened. We had a spare boat, but so he decided not to fish Sunday, so man, I was lost. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now, and I talked to one of my buddies, Chance, and he happened to drop me a pin. He's like, look, man, here's a waypoint. He's like, I usually catch them on shad spawn up here. And he said, take off and see what you can do. So Sunday morning I got up, man, I left the camp and took off, and I drove a long ways. I got to this spot and I put in and everything. And I idled my boat out and went over here on this point that it dropped me a waypoint on, and man, it was shad spawn was going on up there good. You know, the carp had messed it up. That was the problem with our spots all weekend. Man, the carp moved in on us and was muddying up our spots. You know, so I started on this spot and I started catching fish. You know, right at daylight, and I caught some 2.5, 3 pounders, but nothing good enough to weigh. You know, and I left there and I just started, you know, just hit the bank going, throwing at the same kind of stuff. You know. And the shad spawn then kind of died down. Everything's quit hitting top, you know. But so I picked up a white swim jig and I started throwing the swim jig around. And I was actually fishing towards the boat. And I was coming along there, and right as I went to lean up off my butt seat, my motor caught a stump and it threw me forward. And I had one leg in the water and on top of all my rods on the front deck, man. These guys was watching me, and when I got up next to them, they was like, man, we thought we was going to have to come rescue you over there. I was like, y'all see that? I was hoping y'all didn't see that because it's kind of embarrassing. I said, I look like a clown, you know. And so I talked to them for a second. They said that right there in that area, the fish was hot and heavy at daylight also. Well, I kind of keyed in on, you know, what they were using and everything, and everybody had white on. You know what I mean? Everybody was throwing white. I was like, man, everybody's throwing white because of shad spawn. So I got down, grabbed my frog rod back up, and I pulled out my box and started digging through my frogs. And I said, I'm going to try a different color. So I had a color that I was confident in. I caught a 6-pounder a couple weeks ago back home on one of our lakes and lost a giant in a tournament over there. And I was like, I just got confidence in this color. It's totally different than white. I'm going to pick it up and throw it. So I tied that thing on and started going behind those guys, you know, and I guess I got about 100 yards from them, and I went to skip my bait underneath a cypress tree, and it skipped off the water, and then it went up in the tree, you know, and I was sitting there trying to easily pop it out of the limb so it'd fall down beside the tree, and it ended up coming out outside the limb, so I started reeling it in real fast, and it's hard to say how big it was, but it was a good fish, you know. It blew up on it as I was reeling it in and missed it. And I threw at that fish like 4 or 5 times trying to get him to bite it again, and he never would. And I was kind of aggravated. So I turned my boat out away from the grass, you know, and reeled it up. And I just there was a point there, and there was a few trees on it, and the sun was still behind the trees, so it was real shady up there. And I just sailed my frog up on that point, and, man, I made like two pops with it, and this fish just exploded on it, and like it was ridiculous.
A 971 on a frog.
A 971 on a popping spro frog.
Now, okay, so the sun's still behind the clouds. So again, this is Sunday morning, day 3 of the event, and first thing that morning, right?
Yeah,
and
first thing that morning.
I'm assuming you're a good ways away from weigh-in.
Yes, sir. I'm a long ways from weigh-in.
Gotcha.
Probably 40, 45 minutes in the truck.
I mean, we don't have to go into specifics on locations, but are we north or south?
Yeah, that's all I want to know.
We north.
I fixed to say, I heard grass, Steve.
Yeah,
so we're north.
Yeah.
We're north. And he said trees, a lot of trees.
Yeah.
So I'm
got
really
an idea
thinking
where he was at.
We're north here. So
we're north. We way north. You know.
Gotcha. And honestly, you don't hear of many fish like 9-pounders anyway coming from way up
quality
north.
Up there,
yeah,
but not
absolutely.
That big.
Not usually not many 9-pounders up that direction. So get the fish in a boat, of course, see how big she is, and so on and so forth. And you know, of course, I'm sure starting to head back immediately. Correct?
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
All right. So I'm fighting the fish, and I see it jump, and I'm like, man, this is a 10-pounder. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculously big. I was like, it's actually my personal best. I mean, I've caught 5 or 6 8-pounders. You know what I mean? But when I seen this fish come out of the water halfway to the boat, I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is a giant, you know. It had me wrapped up in grass and stuff, and I finally got it in the boat. When I started pulling, I had probably 25 pounds of grass and a fish all in the dip net.
Okay, Okay, that was my next question. By yourself with a 9.7 on, did we lip her? Did we go for the net? Did things get really interesting there?
Yeah, it got real interesting, man. Actually, I missed her on the first stab. I come up with a wad of grass.
Oh.
So I pulled her up that grass and tried to pin her in it. You know what I mean? And I was thinking to myself, that's my best chance, you know. keep her pinned in this grass where she don't jump no more, because I didn't want her to throw that bait.
Yeah,
so I kept
I
her
was-
pinned up in the grass and just pulling her to the boat, you know. And I went, and like I said, I had a big wad, so when I scooped it up the first time, the fish wasn't in it. So I dumped the grass out, and I'm still holding tension with one arm and doing all this with the other arm, you know. So I pick her up again with the rod. When I pull her up, I can see her tail, just the end of her tail, you know, out of the top of the grass. So I pulled it as close to the boat as I could, and I stick my net up underneath all of it, the big water grass and the fish. And when I pulled her up, and I knew I had her in the net, I just dropped my rod and take both hands, and I flip it up, set it in the bottom of the boat, and I start pulling this grass off of this fish. I was like, golly. And I pull it off, and I'm throwing it in the water. And when I seen her, I was like, holy cow, man, this is every bit of 10 pounds, you know.
Wow.
And so
That grass.
immediately I turn my live well on, and I start pumping water in, and I'm putting her in there, and I'm just washing her underneath the aerator to fill up, and I get enough water in the bottom to let her go. So I immediately put my frog and everything up, put all my rods, I was strapping it all down. I started idling that, and I was like, man, I got to call my boy. He's the one who dropped me this waypoint, you know what I mean? So I called him. I was like, dude, you ain't gonna believe this. So he FaceTimes me, and I showed him the fish. He's like, oh my God, man, heck yeah, you know. He's like, I'm happy for you. And
Yeah.
I actually I give her a minute in the live well, then I pulled my scales out. I was like, I got to try to weigh her, you know.
Now, what did she weigh on yours?
On mine, man, it wouldn't never really lock in good.
Yeah.
So I had her mine weighs by the ounces, you know.
Yeah.
It goes like a 9 pound, 15 ounces. So I hit 9.15 one time.
Oh, wow.
I hit 9.13 one time. Then it went down to 9.10.
So and the 9.8's leading right now, and you got 9.15, 9.12 bobbing around. So
yeah.
I mean,
so I don't know really what to do,
right.
man. I'm like, man, and I looked at my clock, and it's close to 8 o'clock, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go
right.
back to the truck, load my boat up, and make it for the 8 to 9. So I just calmed down. I just pretty much relaxed myself, man.
Right.
So I calmed down, and I started trolling out, and there was another boat like 50 yards from me. And I ended up, whenever I spoke to him when I was coming by him, I was like, man, y'all see all that commotion over there? They was like, no, we heard a little bit, but we didn't really know what was going on. And I actually knew the guy in the back of the boat. You know, he was from back home. So he's like, Ryan, is that you? I was like, yeah. And, I talked to him for a minute. I was like, hey, do y'all happen to have a set of scales? And they was like, yeah. And so I trolled up beside them, and they handed me their scales, and I pulled her out of the live well, and they're like, oh, holy cow, man, I think you got it. And I put her on their scales, and it done the same thing. Theirs went by decimal points, So it was bouncing all over the place, between 9.5 to 10 pounds. And so I was like, I'm just gonna call her a 9.5, and
right.
I know she's in between it. I put her in the live well, so I don't want to handle it no more. So I started going, and then
What time did you make it to Cypress Bend?
Okay, I made it to Cypress Bend about 9 o'clock because I drove literally like 35, 40 mile an hour. My worst fear is killing a fish that big.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The safety of the fish is my number one thing. So in all them roads, you're from around there.
Oh yeah.
All those roads are terrible. It's Louisiana.
Well, and Sealy won't weigh a dead fish.
No.
So
yeah, they won't weigh a dead fish.
Well, also, what is the next bonus hour?
Yes.
When
next bonus hour was from 12 to 1. So
okay.
I got plenty of time to make it there, so I'm going slow, and I stopped 3 times, literally 3 times.
Pull over on the side of the road to check the fish 3 times.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, I did. So I finally get to the weigh-ins, and I'm like, I kept my aerator running wide open. I didn't put it on timed or nothing like that.
Right.
I just kept it on manual, just straight pumping on her the whole time. And I sat on the back seat of my boat, and just every 5 or 10 minutes, I'd pick in the live well and make sure she was still upright. And everybody's caught. At this point, there's 10 people.
You're talking about. Wait a minute. You're sitting on the back seat in the boat.
In the boat.
In the parking lot.
Parked at Cypress Bend.
And you got there at 9 o'clock.
I got there about 9 o'clock.
Ryan, you didn't weigh this fish to 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
I weighed her in at almost 1. I took her out of my live well at 12:45.
You were babysitting.
Yes, sir. I was babysitting. I was making sure she was good, And I told everybody that was there with me. I mean, my
Well,
whole
yeah.
family was there. I was like, if this fish starts trying to roll or anything, like she's not lively
Yeah.
or getting sick, I'm gonna go weigh her.
Absolutely.
But if I can't, I mean, as long as she's holding upright and live well, I mean, anybody that fishes knows if they standing upright, they're good.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So I was like, I'm watching her. You know, she's good. I kept checking on her. I was like, at 12:45, I take her out and I walk down there, and I said, by then, you know, if somebody's got a giant, like 11-pounder or something, and gonna beat me out of the bonus hour, I just wait to 101 and weigh her. You know,
Right.
I just
So,
wait till
and
the
for
5
everybody,
hour.
and for
That way I can
everybody
win my
listening,
hour.
let's kind of break this down here for people might not understand what the bonus hour is. So during the Sealy's, they pay every hour. First place is $2,000. Second place is $1,000. But they have a bonus hour, like on Sunday, the 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock is the bonus hour, and it pays $4,000.
Yeah, double.
So if Ryan weighs in when he gets there at 9, 10, or even 11 o'clock, he wins $2,000 with this fish. So the bonus hour first place pays double. So that's the whole thought process here behind this. Get there and wait if you can, like Ryan is alluding to here. As long as the fish is healthy, you can wait to the bonus hour. Okay, so she's healthy. We made it up there, 12:45. You're going to weigh her in. So I'm assuming our next thought is she bigger than what was Stevens 9'8"?
981.
987?
987. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
987.
So yeah, I'm sitting there waiting with this fish, and the thought never crossed my mind. You know, is she gonna beat 987?
Right.
And you know, I was like, it's gonna be close. So then when I walk, I get her. I fill my bag completely up with water to keep her submerged. I'm walking to the weigh-ins, man, and this guy comes and meets me, and he's videoing me the whole time and interviewing me while I'm walking up there. I get straight to the tanks, and I put a oxygen deal in my bag, and you know, let her sit there for just a second. And they're talking to me, and they was like, "Do you think you got it beat?" And I said, "Man," I said, "it's going to be close." I said, "I've weighed her on 2 sets of scales. She's in between 9.5 and 10 pounds." I was like, I know she's going to be close. I said, but to be honest with you, I said, a tournament this big, I was like, I'm just as happy with second place as I would be for first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I was like, either way, we're winning something. You know what I mean? So I get up there, and I could hear Stephen. I think that's his name. The guy that won first. I could hear him over there, and he's freaking out. He's like, man, and I take the fish out of the bag. Somebody in the crowd hollers. I don't know who it was, and everybody's cheering because Mr. Bob had them all pumped up because I was sitting up there so long, and they all already knew about it. So he had the whole crowd pumped up, man. They were all cheering, so it was a big deal. It was pretty cool, you know, to live through that.
Absolutely.
Well, I think one thing that helped you on you know, even landing that fish, Ryan, is the fact that it got in the grass and you didn't have to worry about it jumping anymore.
Yes.
I totally agree. That's why, like I said, she jumped the first time, man, and then she made a hard run towards the back of my boat, kind of to the side.
Yeah.
All I could do was keep pressure on her. Well, when she made that run, it bellied a bunch of grass up. When it did, and I turned her, when I finally made a pull and turned her from the back of the boat coming back towards the front, it bellied a bunch of grass. You know, when I had her up in that grass, immediately I just started pumping it and pulling her in it and trying to keep her head and nose in it, keep her from jumping. You know?
Now, I assume you're throwing braid, Ryan?
Oh, yes, sir. 65-pound test power pro.
There you go. All right, good deal.
Ryan, Steve, I can tell you one thing, that me and Ryan are different.
Yeah.
He won. What all did he win? He won a boat.
He won an 18-foot Triton, Nitro, powered by Mercury, Minn Kota Electronics, Lowrance Electronics, $7,500 cash.
Steve, he's driving to work right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
We're different in that way. I think I might would have had to take off a couple days of work just to kind of get my head wrapped back around me here.
I got up at 6 o'clock this morning and brought my kids to daycare and just headed out towards Bentonville, Arkansas. That's where I'm working at right now. So
Ryan, man, congratulations. Awesome job. I know it's an awesome weekend. Hate it for Josh DeVille, your partner that was supposed to be fishing with you.
Yeah. How's that work? How does that work, Ryan? Are you splitting this with him, or what are we doing here?
Well, that was our thing when we started, you know. And then, I mean, I feel bad that he got sick, but I'm gonna help him out, and I'm gonna try to pay for everything that we we've done this weekend in our house and everything.
Yeah.
You know, try to help him out some. I mean, it's unfortunate that he missed out on that because, I mean, I'm an honest person. I mean, but, I mean, it's hard to say, man.
Well, yeah, I mean,
for him that he got sick, but in the same sense, it's kind of crazy. I also had to, you know, I had to net this fish and all this stuff by myself, and oh God, it was terrible.
Right, one of them deals. You snooze, you lose.
One of them deals for sure. Well, again, man, congratulations, and I appreciate you coming on with us. Kind of talk to us a little bit about how it all went down. Appreciate it, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, Ryan Hebert, Mansur, Louisiana, the second place finisher at the Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash at Toledo Bend. And again, if you're looking to fish one of the Bob Seeley tournaments, they got one more left, be at Lake Fork. I believe it's in September. We'll give you more details the closer we get to that. Once we get to August, we'll start promoting that for Seeley. And but that'll be the final tournament. They have a what do they call that? Fall shootout?
Yeah, they have
at Rayburn.
Yeah, they have some little weekly, or I forget exactly what they're doing there. They started those last year with all the COVID stuff going on. Right. A couple more sponsors we want to thank and mention here. Pride Rods, custom rods built in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Gary Loomis. They carry a complete line of spinning rod and casting rods for both your freshwater and saltwater applications. Pride rods pass not only the eye test, but performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride rods and pick one up to try it for yourself. Or to learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040.
And just in case you're headed for Toledo Bend and looking for some information, or maybe you're going over to Rayburn, which has got extremely high water right now, over 6 feet, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle is the place to stop in for all your information related to Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. They can tell you what to throw, how to throw it, where to throw it. I mean, they've got all the information. Former Elite Series Pro Ben Matsubu is an employee there, and Keith himself, both of those guys fish a lot. They're on the water a lot. They can tell you exactly what's going on at Toledo Bend. So check it out. Great tackle selection, full pegs. Right there at Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. As you cross the Pendleton Bridge going into Texas, it's going to be located on your left just before you get to Carice Creek. And so check it out. Great place to buy all your fishing tackle. Keith Neighbors is the owner. Thank you, Keith, for all your support. And again, tell them hooking up and tell them Tackle Talk Live sent you.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. Tackle Talk Live. Tell them Tackle Talk Live sent you.
All right, Steve, now we have the champion, the Big Bass Splash champion, Mr. Stephen Rushmeier. Mr. Stephen, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Now, Stephen, you know there is a fee for coming on this program, and I think it's 50% of whatever you won last weekend.
Yeah, buddy. Everybody wants their share.
Oh, everybody! I'm sure your phone is ringing off the hook. Man, you owe me this or you owe me that, I'm sure.
Mr. Stephen, so we just got off the phone interviewing the second place winner who caught his fish on Sunday. Completely different process for you. You caught your fish on Friday right off the bat, so had to endure and go through the whole weekend with this. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's first jump into how it all went down first thing Friday morning.
Well, Friday morning we got there about 5:45, and you can't start fishing until 6. So we were changing some lures and stuff, and fish started blowing up around. Like, man, what is that? So at 6 o'clock, the fish quit blowing up. My partner caught a 2-pounder. We fished on down the bank, and I'd seen an 8-pounder jump out of the water on Thursday. So I went around to that spot and tried over there and didn't do nothing. And I said, well, let's go back where them fish were blowing up and see if we can do something. I got back there and made about the 5th cast. I changed colors on a lizard. About the 5th cast with that blue pro lizard, he jumped all over it.
Texas
under the boat.
Texas rig lizard
Or weightless?
Yes.
Texas rig.
Texas rig.
And now, what was the color?
Blue scroll.
Okay.
Now, how deep was this fish, Stephen?
Between 2 and 4 feet.
Oh, wow, he's up shallow then. Wow. So, I guess when you set the hook on this fish, was it like you thought maybe you set the hook on a stump?
Things got interesting
did
real
you
quick.
think, man, get the net now?
It did get real interesting. I told my partner, I said, Charlie, get the net. This is a good fish. I'm not sure how good, but it's a good fish.
Yeah.
And then it started coming to the boat, and it went under the boat.
Yeah.
Wow.
It took me from the front of the boat all the way to the back of the boat, under the boat, holding the rod out, around the motor, around the talon, onto the back side of the boat, and started up the front side. And I kind of gave it a little extra tug, and she come up. And my partner netter, he said, "There's an 8-pounder." I said, "No, that's a lot better than 8, boy."
Yeah, you knew your trip was paid for right there, probably.
Yeah. And then I couldn't remember what hour was the shirt hour. So my wife, I said, "Go online and find out when the shirt hour is and take it back to me."
Right.
So,
Now, how far from Cypress Bend was you at that point?
Yeah.
I was about 40-minute truck ride.
Can we ask south or north?
I was north.
North.
Wow, Steve.
Yeah, that's the two biggest fish came north.
The second place was kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
Steve. So
He came north as well.
That it's very odd for fish that size, that far north. That is very interesting.
And there was another guy fishing right there around me. He won an hour with the 7-something that came out of right in the same area where I caught mine.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Dang.
So you weigh in this 987, day one, second hour, day one. Did you fish the next 2 days?
I didn't fish the rest of that day.
Right.
I fished on Saturday morning, went out, I had a 384, and took it and weighed it in, got knocked out of money by 3 spots. And then yesterday, I went out and we fished, and I had one right at 4 pounds, and it was trying to roll over on me and died. So we made the decision to go ahead and take it and weigh it before it died. I think it needed to be fizzed. And we got there, and he laid it on the thing, flipped it back and forth. The fin moved a little bit. You're good. He weighed it in. It was 401.
401. Had the 4-pounder been caught yet?
And the 4-pounder hadn't been caught.
Oh, wow. Almost had a 40. So you really would have had a good weekend. That'd have been another $5,000 in your pocket.
Yes, sir.
So on Sunday, and I seen you were there in some of the interviews and things. I saw you were there. I'm assuming you were there and heard about the big fish coming away, and kind of tell us how that all went down as you heard about the big fish that was coming.
My buddy that was fishing with me come up. He said, "Man, it's that group of guys over around that white boat with that emerald on it." I said, "Yeah." He said, "That guy's got one between 9.5 and 10." And said he'd been sitting out there since a little after 8 this morning.
Yeah.
So he's waiting for that shirt hour.
Right.
And Bob come walking up. I said, "Bob, that boat right there's got a big one in it." Bob's standing there, and we're talking, and he said, "You know what? I can't take it no more. I want to see." So Bob took off, went over there and looked at the guy's boat. He said, "Man, it's long.
Yeah.
Well,
Not real wide. It's long. I don't know."
my next question: Friday and Saturday night, did you sleep at all?
Friday night I passed out for about 2 hours.
For about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I woke up, and I never did go back to sleep. Saturday night, I dozed off for about an hour, and everything running through my mind and everything. I never really slept.
So, I mean, I guess which is worse? Catching him the first day early, and now you got to wait for 2 more days, 2.5 days, or is catching it the last day? I probably want to catch it on the last day, so I don't have to go through all that.
It's a lot easier on your heart.
A lot easier on your heart. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. I would imagine so. But at least on catching on day one, you've got the weekend paid for. I mean, you're going to finish top 5 now.
Yeah, you're in top 5.
Yeah, I figured I was top 5 with no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
I
Stephen,
know there's a lot of big come out of there.
you said the second fish you would need to be fish, so that tells you to come out of deeper water. How deep did you catch
No,
your?
it came out of the exact same area.
Uh,
But what happened when he hit the frog and I set the hook on it, he got hung up in a tree. And the way the fish was acting, that's why I thought it needed to be fished.
Oh.
Turn it ways, his belly up in the air. So
Interesting.
I don't know. I never did find out if the fish ate it or not.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Stephen, you're from Slidell. I mean, and are you coming up just for this tournament? Do you fish Toledo Bend a good bit, or is this your first time to fish it this year?
I just left the man that gave me the spot to go fish a few minutes ago. I used to fish the ABA weekend series when I tried at it, and it fell apart. And I haven't been to Toledo Bend bass fishing tournaments other than one time last year. Me and my wife went over there, and we caught about 4 little fish. He said, "I don't like this here." So we left there, and I lost money on the motel room, and we went to the Red River and went fishing. So I fished Toledo Bend one time in 15 years, and that was the first time I've been back.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I'm assuming you have changed your mind about Toledo Bend then.
Oh, I used to love Toledo Bend, but Mama didn't like it that weekend, so Mama don't like it, we ain't staying.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and whether it's that weekend, anytime you're dealing with Bob Seeley, that's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of people. It's congested. I can see where people, they get a little anxiety attack when they go to a Bob Seeley event.
Yeah, well, that was my second one. I fished the Rayburn one last month, and I cashed a check in it. It was a small check, but it was a check. It was more than 33,000 people did, I guess.
Right.
Now, you know, next year's their big anniversary tournament at Rayburn. I think over $1 million will be going to be given away. You plan on fishing that?
I plan on being there.
There you go.
He's got me.
He's hooked now.
Yeah,
He's
you're hooked too now.
Well, Mr. Stephen, congratulations.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on with us, and congratulations and best of luck down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yes,
right.
sir.
Stephen Rushmeier, the winner of the Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash at Toledo Bend, and God, I've been on the lake twice in a year.
And don't get me wrong, Steve. I'm not saying there is not big fish caught up north. There is a lot of big tournaments and a lot of big fish caught up north. A lot of 5, 6, and 7 pounders up north.
Yeah.
Maybe more than down south of that size.
Right.
But there's not in the past, been a lot of 8, 9, 10 pound class fish caught from up north.
Right.
And that's why it was shocking me that both the first and second place came not only from up north, but they're saying a 40-minute drive. That's a long ways.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I mean, you're above Converse area.
Oh, yeah, you're up there. No, you're probably up there at Circle Drive. You're probably that far up. 45 minutes.
9-pounders from that area of the lake.
And especially when you get around cypress trees, I got a gut feeling he was Circle Drive area.
Yeah.
So
On a lizard.
Tucker's Lake.
Big Bass Splash at Sam Rayburn was one on a lizard.
Yeah.
So big, I mean, is the lizard making a comeback?
Lizard making a comeback.
V&M makes plenty of them, by the way. Anyway.
Just to give you an idea as to how good Bob Seeley is and how generous he is for this event, you know, because he does not have to do what I'm fixing to go over here. Exact weights. There was only 4 exact weight fish actually weighed in, but he gave them all away no matter what. If you didn't have an exact weight for that day, he put all the anglers' names in a hopper and he pulls 2 names out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 names were pulled that there was no exact weight on those days, but he still pulled a name out of the hopper and gave away $5,000 cash.
Wow.
He don't have to do that. He could have said, I'm just going to keep that money. Nobody weighed exact, so I'll just keep it. No, he gives that money away to basically to anybody that fished the tournament. So congratulations to Bob Seeley once again. Job well done. Congratulations to all you guys that did well in this event. And, you know, again, and I actually figured up the average weight per fish was 4.15.
That's impressive.
For all 3 days, all the fish weighed in.
For May.
Yes.
With these conditions,
Yes.
that is very good. And I mean, you talked about this yesterday, Steve. I really believe Toledo Bend showed out as we thought it would.
Yes.
As we thought it would, and it did. And I hope this this continues, I'm hoping we got some vegetation, we got some grass growing up north, which Ryan alluded to. He caught his fish out of.
Yeah.
So I'm
Water's
hoping,
up in the bushes.
I'm hoping this is going to be something for Toledo Bend that is very, very good for years to come.
Yep. Hopefully it'll rebound and get back to the place we're used to it being. Upcoming tournaments, we've got 2 or 3 coming up. We got Outlaw Outdoors Average Joe on Sam Rayburn, May 22nd.
It was postponed as of about an hour ago. Outlaw Outdoors sent out an email that they are postponing this event due to high water. Of course, we all know the amount of rain we got in this area this morning. South Texas, that from about Jasper, actually south, or a little above Jasper south, got really lot of rain last night, this morning, and got a lot more to come the next 2 days. They went ahead and saying they're going to postpone that event this weekend. They haven't set a date for it. To my understanding, I'm sure I'll hear from Clint and Stacy when that is, and we'll let you guys know. As of right now, Bass Champs on Toledo Bend this coming weekend is still a go. I expect it to. They've got floodgates up in Toledo Bend. We're not in as bad a shape here on Toledo Bend as they are at Sam Rayburn.
We're only 6 inches above pool, not 6 feet, 6 inches.
Now, we got a lot of rain still to come, and Lake Fork has its floodgates open, so it's not going to fall. I don't see it. But as many floodgates and everything's got open, I don't see it rising much more either.
Toledo Bend doesn't jump the way Rayburn jumps, and
they control it.
Yeah, they control it really well, and they do a lot of generating there, so it helps. ABA Open Series, South Texas, May 29th at Sam Rayburn. It's going out of Castle Boykin Boat Ramp. Not sure exactly what, in terms of if that's a go yet. Chris Wayans, the tournament director for that event. I'll be in touch with him over the next week. By next Monday, I should have an answer as to we're on. We're still on. So we'll find out more about that next Monday. We'll have some information on any tournaments coming up. Hopefully, at either one of these 2 bodies of water.
Steve, one more sponsor we did forget to mention. We got Mr. Stephen on while he had service a while ago, but we want to make sure the Lakes Insurance Agency, independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texas insurance needs for 25 plus years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, recreational vehicle, life, health, and commercial insurance. The owner, Clark Moore, is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs as a boat owner and wants to be your go-to guy. Give him a call for a free quote at 936-205-4467 or stop in at 805 Southeast Stallings, Suite 3, right there in Nacogdoches. Again, the Lakes Insurance Agency, and definitely would probably be a good time to go visit him for some boat insurance over there for Sam Rayburn with all them floaters that's going to be going around.
I'm actually going to try to look up Clark. He fished the ABA Solo Top 150 Tour, and which, by the way, if you're looking for something to fish in 2022, the new schedule will be coming out hopefully in the next couple of months for this particular tour. It's three events. They're actually looking, it's not public knowledge yet, it hadn't been released, but they're looking to have a regional and then have a national championship for the Solo Top 150 Tour starting next year. And a lot of money will be up for grabs. And so I highly encourage you to take a look at this. Chris Wayan is the tournament director for this particular circuit, does a tremendous job, very professional, very well run, and does a great job. And again, Clark Moore, saw Clark at the last minute, meant to pull him aside.
Top 5. He qualified for the national championship.
Yep, tell him thank you for his support of our program. And but anyway, and if you're interested in becoming a part of our program as a sponsor, just message us on our Facebook page, and Kevin will get back to you and make sure you get the packet you need describing exactly what you're getting, the bang for your buck, what you're getting when you advertise with us. Also, and I guess that's pretty much going to wrap it up, Kevin.
Yeah, we're good for today. Looking forward to seeing what the weights are on Bass Champs Toledo Bend this weekend. Again, I think it's going to be a really good weekend. I think the guys are really going to catch them. So interesting to see what those weights look like is there as well.
Yep. Today we leave you with this. With the lakes on the rise, it's a great time to go fishing, but high water means floating debris and hazards. So be careful, watch out where you're running, and be respectful of no wake zones during these high water periods. Till next time, if you want to catch more fish, you've got to continue to watch Tackle Talk Live. Have a great week, everybody.